Have you ever really stopped to think about the money in your wallet? What gives it any value at all? It's something we use every single day, but we rarely question it. Well, today, we're diving into exactly that. We're talking about fiat currency, and its entire existence is built on one incredibly powerful, yet kind of fragile idea: trust.
No, seriously, take a look at a banknote. It's really just a piece of paper with some fancy ink on it. It has no real inherent value. You can't eat it, you can't build a house with it, so why on earth can you trade it for food, a place to live, and pretty much everything else you need? What's the magic trick here?
Well, the answer is something called fiat money, and the name itself is a huge clue. Fiat is Latin for let it be done. Basically, its value exists simply because a government says so. Unlike the old days, it's not backed by a physical pile of gold sitting in a vault somewhere. Its value comes purely from our collective faith and trust in the government that issues it.
Okay, so if it's built on nothing physical, how in the world does this system actually function day to day? Let's unpack the social contract that holds this whole thing together.
It all boils down to this unspoken agreement, this social contract. You see, the challenge of our modern money system isn't a physical one, like having to dig more gold out of the ground. It's a psychological one. It works simply because we all agree to believe in the story that this piece of paper has value.
And that trust really stands on two main pillars. First up, you've got the network effect. It's pretty simple, right? I accept your money because I'm confident that the next person, say the grocery store, will accept it from me. It's a self-reinforcing loop of belief. The second pillar is government legitimacy. The government not only declares it legal tender, but, and this is the kicker, it demands you pay your taxes with it. That single act creates a permanent, built-in demand for the currency, making sure it's always useful for at least one thing.
This quote just nails it. We moved from managing a scarce physical thing, gold, to managing something way more abstract, credibility. The whole game today is about maintaining the public's trust in the system. So you might be wondering, why take this huge risk? Why switch from solid gold to this abstract idea of trust? Well, it turns out the fiat system has a genuine superpower, something the old gold standard could never even dream of.
And that superpower is flexibility. With fiat money, the supply is elastic. It can be expanded or contracted whenever it's needed. It's not chained to how much gold you can dig out of the ground. This elasticity, this flexibility, is really the #1 reason the world made the switch.
And this flexibility gives central banks a powerful toolkit to manage the economy. Think of them as the economy's thermostat. Is the economy getting cold, heading into a recession, they can pump in more money and lower interest rates to warm things up. Is it overheating, causing prices to soar? They can do the opposite, tighten the money supply and raise rates to cool it down. This kind of active management was just impossible under the rigid gold standard. This table lays out the trade-offs perfectly. With gold, you get value you can touch, but the system is incredibly rigid. With fiat money, you get amazing flexibility to manage the economy, but the entire system rests on trust, and the biggest risk is always inflation, or its terrifying older brother, hyperinflation.
But that flexibility, well, it's a double-edged sword. And the very power that gives central banks the ability to save an economy can also be used to completely destroy it.
And that brings us to the central paradox of fiat money. The ability to create money out of thin air to fight a recession is the exact same ability that can be abused to print it into worthlessness. The risk isn't a bug in the system, it's a built-in feature.
And when that power is abused, you get hyperinflation. We're not talking about prices going up a few percent a year. The technical definition is an inflation rate of over 50% per month. Just try to imagine that. At that rate, money becomes basically meaningless and an entire economy can unravel with terrifying speed.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theoretical danger. To see what happens when that social contract of trust completely shatters, we need to look at what happened in Zimbabwe not too long ago.
So in the late 2000s, Zimbabwe's economy was in a free fall, facing a total collapse. The government turned to the one tool they had complete control over, the money printer. And they didn't just turn it on, they pushed it into overdrive.
The result was an inflation rate that's almost impossible to even wrap your head around. At its peak, it hit 79.6 times billion% in a single month. That meant prices were doubling every single day. The cash you had in your pocket in the morning was worth half as much by the evening.
And this is what that looks like. The government actually printed a $100 trillion banknote. And what could this ridiculously huge sum of money get you? If you were lucky, maybe a single loaf of bread. The numbers had become a joke because the trust that gave them any meaning was completely and utterly gone.
For the people of Zimbabwe, the consequences were devastating. The currency was worthless. Anyone with savings saw their life's work get wiped out basically overnight. You couldn't even buy things in a store anymore. People started bartering, trading goods for other goods. They just abandoned their own currency and started using foreign money, like the US dollar, just to survive.
At the end of the day, the story of Zimbabwe is a stark, powerful reminder of our central point. The value of our money isn't backed by gold in a vault somewhere. It's backed by our collective trust in the institutions that manage it. And when that trust disappears, the currency dies. It's as simple as that.
And so that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Our entire global financial system is built on this shared story, a story of trust in governments and central banks. But if money really is just a story that we all agree to believe in, what happens when we start telling a new one?